Hello, America and the world. Welcome to Life After Lockup. This is a program that is designed to show the community and the public a different side of the criminal justice system, a side that shows the human side of ex-offenders, the struggles that they might have while they're incarcerated, some of the struggles that they might have after they are released. This program is designed to show that we are human, we make mistakes, and a lot of times all we need is just a chance to prove ourselves back into the community. Some of the things that the Life community is doing in the community of Paducah, Kentucky, every first Monday we have what we call the ex-offenders support group. We meet every first Monday at 5:30 to 6:30. Every second and fourth Monday we have what we call Teen Ease. It is designed for teenagers 13 to 17 to come out. We have food, fun, and fellowship, and we also have somebody to come in to help navigate them through their teenage years. Every Tuesday at 11:30, we have what we call the Lifesaver class, a class designed for anyone with any life-controlling issues. It's an 8-week course, and we have a lot of people that, even though after they finish the 8 weeks, they continue to come because it's such a helpful class. If you have any life-controlling issues, come out and get some help. Now, we've extended that Lifesaver class to Wednesday nights. So every Wednesday at 5:30, we have the same Tuesday class on Wednesdays. So these are some of the things that we are doing. We have classes for men, classes for women, marriage classes. If you need any further information, 270-575-3823, or you can go to lifecommunities@bellsouth.net. Today, I am very, very excited. I have a great sister of mine and friend that we're going to be talking to that has a powerful, dynamic story, and we're going to welcome to Life After Lockup, Sister Lisa Jones. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you?
Marvelous. Are you nervous a little bit?
I am.
Okay,
I am.
but it's going to be okay. It's going to be
Thank
okay.
you. I am.
I want to get right to it because 30 minutes is a short time, and it'll be over with before we know it.
Yes, sir.
I want to kind of go back a little bit and do you remember where your struggles started? Where you started kind of going into the dark zone, I might call it.
It started. I was in my late 30s. My baby father in a relationship. I was in a relationship, and he indulged in drugs. And you know, we as women, when we're in love with our male friend, we seem to follow them, regardless if it's wrong or right. We just do that to keep the peace, and that's how I got involved with drugs.
So at 30 years old, so during your teenage years, anything like that? Nothing?
No, young adolescent, none of that, no.
Wow, now
we do the weed thing, you know, you might drink a little bit or whatever, but it was never nothing hard.
Wow, so you got into the hard stuff at 30, after 30, wow.
After 30, yeah.
And kind of walk us through some of the things that addiction caused you.
It caused me a whole lot. It caused me a relationship with my children. It cost me my house. It cost the job. Wow. It almost cost me my life. Okay, because I went from top of a hill to the rock bottom of it. Wow. I lost everything, to the point where I was homeless. Wow. To the point where my children was being taken care of and raised by others. But it was like I just didn't care about anything other than what I wanted to do.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, as a woman, because I know men that are hooked on drugs, they do a lot of different things to get the drugs. How did that cause your self-esteem? What did it do to your self-esteem?
Well, actually, I'm not a saint, so I won't say I didn't go there. There was times when I did go there, but unfortunately, I didn't have to go there a lot because I had friends with benefits. Okay. And so they supported a lot of my habits. Okay. And so you know that was a thing that I did kind of have. Well, that money was not really an issue. I guess that's why I stayed in the drug issue so long, because I could go get money and I could go through I had a $500 a day habit.
Wow.
Where I had a friend that supported that habit. Wow. So that's what took me. It took me a while to get 14 years.
Wow, so you were hooked for 14 years.
Right.
Now, you said something earlier when we were talking about the fact that you basically kind of liked it. You didn't really want to quit for a while.
Exactly. I always told people that an addiction is something that you go through. It's something that you do because you want to, and then there's sometimes you're not going to stop unless you want to stop.
Very good.
Okay.
Now that's important.
Exactly.
Because a lot of times people wonder when you're going to stop.
Exactly.
When is enough going to be enough?
Exactly.
So what you're saying is that sometimes people don't want to stop.
Exactly, and I was one of those people. I liked it, and I didn't want to stop. I got money for it. People supplied it. It was just not a problem. I even had extra money for my children to take care of this, to take care of that. So I didn't think that I was doing anything wrong. I wasn't hurting anybody.
Wow.
I'm doing okay. You know, I got to grip on this. When all the time I was digging a deeper hole for myself and my life and my children.
Wow.
So
now what happened that I guess got you incarcerated?
Well, I was on probation actually. Actually, what happened is I had given some people a ride, and they stopped me. The police stopped me, and they found a drug paraphernalia pipe in my car. And whoever car it was, that's what it belongs to. Okay. It was my car, so I took that route, and that's how I got on 2-year probation. And so I walked down 1.5 years of that, doing great. And then my spouse of 14 years passed, Tim, 17 years, he passed away. On March the 23rd, and then after that I slept, and I went into a binge. And so, you know, Mom and everybody would always ask, you know, Alicia, when you're going to stop, when you're going to stop. And I told them when God said, peace be still. Wow. And so September the 11th, 2012, God said, peace be still, because I went to jail. And I always tell people I slept on steel. I was locked up behind steel. Everywhere I looked, there was steel. And to this day, I'm still.
Oh, wow.
And so that's my testimony. And I always would tell people, you know, it doesn't matter how many, you know, I went to jail for 4 months, all right? And within that 4 months, I went through the jail ministry, and that's where I met Miss Brenda Shelby. She is a volunteer helper for Ladies Living Free, and she told me about that program. And so then also met another lady, Karen Burton. She was a member of Fresh Start with Paducah Corporate Ministry. She also had a ministry coming into church through the jail. So I went through all of those, and I graduated those courses. And so
let me ask you this though, because I want to kind of go back to you said you were in there for 4 months.
4 months.
What did those 4 months do?
Broke me. They broke me. I was to the point where. Let me go back. I remind you, people, I have been to jail before, but going to jail and setting a bond and getting out, I'm not going to worry about that.
Right.
That was all good, because but this time I went and there was no bond.
Oh, wow.
So that made me sit, and and I cried nights and days. I cried, I broke down. I never realized how free was until I was locked up.
Wow.
And so within that time I said, okay, God, you got me down, you got me still, so okay, let's talk. So I got the Bible and I started reading. And as I read it, we talked. And my favorite was Psalms. Psalms, well, actually, I read Psalms a lot, but I like the Proverbs 27, verse 19. It said, when you look into the water, you see the reflection of your face, but when you look into your heart, you see what you're really like.
Wow.
And that was the message for me, because I saw me in a mirror, and I could pretend to be whatever I wanted to be. Wow. I could look any way I wanted to look in that mirror. But when I really searched my heart, I didn't like that person that I was.
You know, that's important, because when we go back to the jails and talk to people, one of the things that we try to tell them, you gotta discover yourself.
Yes.
You gotta find out who you are, so that you can be a better person when you get out of here. Now, one of the things that always impressed me about you, 4 months. Now, somebody might say 4 months, there's no time at all. But you know, one of the things that I've learned, God knows how much time it takes for each of us.
Absolutely.
It took me 3 years and a couple of months for me to know I didn't want to go back.
Right.
So it took you 4 months, and in those 4 months, God started dealing with you, and you start seeking Him.
Yes, I did.
And found Him, and that's when the Ladies Living Free and the all of those people came in.
Right. Well, the whole 4 months, that's what I was doing, is going through that, and then Judge Kochenbach was my judge. He told me that I couldn't get out of jail unless I got shocked out to a rehab. And within that period of time, I did get paroled to go to a SAP program in Hoptown. And I didn't want to go there, because I had started building my faith in Christ. And so I wanted something that was Christian-based. Wow. So I said no to that. And meanwhile, my clock was ticking down. So I applied for Ladies Living Free. And Miss Lori Ford, she was one of the assistants there, she come out and she interviewed me in jail. And I basically told her that I'm at my rock bottom.
Wow.
Okay. And there's no place else for me to look but up. And what I see is a chance to fly and spread my wings and to overcome this. And I see that through Ladies Living Free.
Wow.
And so they gave me a chance. And so they gave me a bid date of January the 9th of 2013. And I was told that it'll take 30 to 60 days to get approved for shock. And so my reading the Bible in the Word, God just said, don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. Don't apply for shock yet.
Wow.
So I applied for shocks January the 7th, 2 days before my bid date. And that was on a Monday. I called that Tuesday. My shock paper still hadn't been approved. January the 9th, Wednesday morning, a jailer come into the cell and said, Jones, roll her up. You're going to Latest Living Free.
Wow.
And
wow.
Whew.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
and
okay.
that was the power of God.
Wow.
And like I said, I fell to my knees and prayed. The girls packed up my things because we had an hour to get there.
Right.
And after that, that's when a fresh start stepped in.
Wow.
They come in, got me, Zola picked me up at first, my sister, took me to her house, and then they come and got me, took me to my probation officers, took me to get some clothes, took me and fed me, took me to Latest Living Free, and I give God all the praise and all the glory because that was an eye-opener for me.
Wow.
And like I will tell you, anybody, it is what you have to do or what you want to do. You can go to 10 rehabs, you can do anything, spend plenty of money on doctors, different things, but it's all about what you are ready to stop doing.
That is so true.
Okay.
That is so true.
It
Because
is.
I tell mamas and wives and fathers that sometimes they are so concerned about their children. And I tell them, when they get ready to stop, when they get ready, most of the time they won't stop until they get ready.
That's
so
right.
you were ready.
I was ready.
You were ready.
And another thing, right before I went to jail, another thing that really was transforming me is that my dad come down. He lives in Missouri, and he come down and wanted to meet with me. And I said, "What, Daddy? You know, go over there. I'm glad to see my daddy. You get all cute up. You know, you want Daddy to think you're okay." And Daddy said, "Squeeze," he said, I want to get some information because I want to take out another life insurance policy." I said, "A life insurance policy?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, Squeeze, you live in a fast life."
Wow.
My nickname is Squeeze. He said, "You live in a fast life, and I don't know what's going to happen then from the one day to the next. So we need to prepare." I said, "Dad, you guys are preparing to bury me?"
Wow.
He said, "Well, that's the life you live, honey."
Wow.
That was really emotional.
Wow.
That was like, look at what you're doing to yourself, to your family. They're preparing to bury you.
Wow.
And he said, and you have children, so we have to make sure that they're okay.
That's
And I said, "Well, Dad, I'm not living like that." He said, "Well, you're living like you're living, and anything can happen." So, you know, and he was right.
Yes, he was.
He was right.
Yes, he
And
was.
so things like that, things were turning. God was just putting steps in order, you know, and he was just preparing things. And so that was a mind-turning, boggling thing that I thought, wow, my people are expecting.
Right. And you know how devastating it had to be for a father to come and talk to his daughter. I couldn't even imagine coming to my daughter saying, you know, the life that you're living right now, you could end up dead.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we can bury you.
Yes.
And that your children are going to be taken care of. Wow.
Yes. Yes.
So saying something like that to you also helped to.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
That was telling me that the thing that I knew all the time, that this is not right for me. That was my
cue.
My cue that at least you know it's not right. Daddy just told you again it's not right. So when are you going to get this? And so I still say, God, when you say peace be still, this is when I'm going to do this. Well, when he put me in jail, that was his way of saying peace be still. And I'm so glad that because that it has happened this way, because while I was in jail, the friend with benefits, he passed away while I was in jail. And God works things all out for good, because honestly, knowing me, honestly, if he was still alive and I have got out, and he would have dropped $500 or more in my pocket and say, "Here," and I would have done exact the same thing.
Wow.
Exact the same thing. And that is my truth. Because I know me, you know, because like I said, I liked doing what I was doing. I didn't think I was hurting anybody. Money was no option. I wasn't stealing, robbing, bothering anybody. So I'm like, I can do what I want to. This is my pocket money. Yeah.
Wow.
And so but all that got old. I went to jail. It turned out for good.
Yes.
I'm a member of Christ Temple. I'm on the usher board.
Wow.
I have a job. I work for Ashley Furniture. I have a car. I have my own place. I haven't had my own place in years.
Wow.
I always live with somebody.
You know, I remember when you were at Latest Living Free, and you were the program was almost over with for you.
Yes, sir.
And there was some fear.
Yes.
What was the fear about?
I was, well, actually, Ladies Living Free is a 6 months term. So you do 3 months, you do 6 months. But I actually stayed for another 3 months.
Okay.
Because they had a transition house. So after I got out of the in-house care, I went to the transition house, which gives you leadway to go and come, but you still have a curfew. Because I wasn't ready. I was still very much intimidated by the world. I was scared. And then I got an apartment, and I was actually afraid to be by myself. I wasn't ready. I was still not ready for the world because the world as I knew it frightened me.
Right.
Okay, because I'm different now. I'm not that person anymore.
Right.
So I wasn't sure on how to deal with that, you know, and so I didn't want to put myself out there. So when I went into transition house for the 3 months, those extra 3 months, it was okay. I could ease out there and into the world, but then as soon as I feel a little intimidated, I could run back to my Jesus bubble, and that's what I did for 3 more months.
Wow.
And
you know, when you are talking about that, the influence that Ladies Living Free had on you, and the ability to be able to do that. Do you know how many women get out of jail and prison that don't have anywhere to go at all?
Yep.
And they are out on the street sometimes, and sometimes what they do, they end up living with people that they have to do favors for just to survive.
Just to survive. You are so right.
And you had somewhere to go to, and even when you were not ready, they still were able to put you up somewhere.
Yes, they did.
Until you got ready.
Yes, they did. They did. And they still tell us now, if we feel any setbacks or anything that's not going right, or we feel like that we need to be fed some more, or to be, you know, to come back. They tell us that all the time.
Amazing.
Kay Alcock, Miss Marilyn McComb, Miss Lori Ford, Terry Pierce, those people are awesome. They, you know, in the thing that I would tell people, my issue when I went there was submitting to authority. You know, you've been on your own for so long, and you think no one can tell you this, tell you that. Well, I had to realize that if I was so functional on my own, I wouldn't be in that situation.
Thank you.
So I had to bow down and give them their props and their respect, and submit to authority, because everything that they, you know, people think sometimes because people hasn't been through those things that they don't understand. Well, the ones that's been through it, sure, they might understand a little bit better than the ones that haven't, but that still don't make them not understand.
Exactly.
Okay,
and
because
it doesn't make right wrong.
Exactly.
Right is still right.
Exactly.
You know, whether I've been through what you've been through or not, if I'm telling you something right, it's still right.
Exactly.
You know, and they are, that is an awesome organization.
It is.
And I've heard so many positive things about them, and for them to be able to be there for you, for you to shock out to them, that had to have set a foundation for you in order for you to be who you are right now.
It did. And let me tell you what is so important to me that really makes me admire those ladies, because I asked them while I was there, how do they decide, because there's so many applicants, how do you guys decide on what people or what girls do you guys going to bring to the program? They told me they put them all out and they pray over them.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
Wow.
They said they put them all out, spread them all out, and they pray over them.
Isn't that amazing?
That's totally amazing.
And it shows you that the prayer, because look at you.
Yes. Yes.
You know, so it had to have been a God thing.
Yes, it was. And they did tell me I was the least likely one they thought would make it.
Oh, wow.
Yes, but I bowed down because Miss Kay and the ladies, they're awesome. They are so awesome.
And some of them are a little strict because they have to be.
They have
some
to
of them
be.
are a little firm.
Yes, they have to be.
Because they're dealing with all kinds of spirits that are coming in there.
All kind.
Now, you've been away from Ladies Living Free since when?
A year.
About a year.
Yeah. Well, October coming up will be a year.
1 year.
Well, yeah.
And how do you feel that you have managed? I mean, what do you feel about yourself now?
I think that I am the child of a king.
Wow. That is so
because I have grown to know me better. I have learned to respect me better. I know that I am above a lot of the things that I have done and experienced. Wow. And I know there's a greater life beyond that.
Wow, that is so good.
So I have, and I am so positive. And I've always had this what do they call it? This this arrogant kind of a way, which is not. It's not
confidence.
It's confidence. That's the word.
That's what Muhammad Ali had, was confidence. People thought it was arrogance. It was confidence.
And so I've always had that, and right now I still pray for grace. I pray for grace because I still sometimes can be a little intimidated because of my demeanor, or sometimes the way I speak, and sometimes the way I look, I carry myself. So I still pray for grace so people don't see that part of me, because the devil will make you see things that's not there.
Yes.
So I pray for grace that they see the beauty in me, and not the evil that the devil will portray to see. Yeah.
And you know, and the more you search out yourself and you search God, then the glow of God is showing in you. Because that's all I've ever seen since you've been there. Is God's grace. I've not seen the evil Lisa. I've not seen.
She used to exist.
Yeah, and I had an evil twin as well. You know, but it's something about just being in the presence of God that the more we seek Him, the better we become.
Exactly.
And you are doing such a wonderful job here. And you said you work at Fleming.
Ashley Furniture Store. Where Fleming is our sister store, but it's Ashley. That's on North 16th. Yeah.
And how'd you get that job?
It is so weird because I was still L.I.F.E, and it was the end of that month. I had to move, but anyway, I saw it in the paper 3 times.
Wow.
And I kept saying, that job's mine. That job's got my name on it. That job has my name on it. And so one day I was just riding by, and I said, I'm going to stop. And I stopped and I put in an application, and he interviewed me on the spot. And in the interview, there was a gap, because I worked for a company for 8 years, and then there was a gap. And so he wanted to know what happened within those 8 years. And I told him. I went out into the world. I was addicted to drugs, and I just graduated from Ladies Leaving Free. And I said, but now I'm a born-again Christian, and I'm ready to give myself a chance if someone will allow me to.
Wow.
And he said, okay. And so he called me back later on that afternoon. So happens I was doing volunteer work at Fresh Start, which is run by Paducah Corporate Ministry. Karen Burton runs that. And I was there in her office when he called me for a second interview.
Wow.
And so I interviewed with the owner, which is the Kellys, Dan and Karen Kelly. And I told them the same story. And they were just impressed.
Wow.
And gave me a chance. And for the last 2 months, I've been the top salesperson.
Wow.
So
wow.
God
Congratulations
really,
to you.
Yeah,
and you know, it's amazing because
Yeah.
you spoke that thing.
Yeah.
You said, this job has my name on it.
I did.
And to have the confidence to go up in there and fill out an application, and the confidence in telling them the truth.
That's it. And he told me, and Ray, my boss now, he told me, he said, I can respect that you told me the truth.
Wow.
I said, well, that's all it is. That's all I have. And if the truth is not going to get me where I'm going, then I sure know a lie isn't.
Right.
Okay.
And that's powerful, because so many people get out and they feel like they have to hide it and deceive. And eventually it catches up with them.
That's right.
And you were up front right away. And you know, that so reminds me of me, because that's the way I did.
Yeah.
When I got out of prison, I let them know what I went in for. I let them know how long I got and everything, and I'm laying it all out there. I'm going to give you all the ugly up front, but if you give me a chance, I'm not the same person that I was. And see, this is important, because employers that might be watching the program need to know that sometimes we just need a chance.
That's right.
We just need a chance. But ex-offenders also need to know, be honest.
Be honest. That's what it takes. Because see, it's not your past that makes you the person. Your present is what makes you.
Exactly. And if you are upfront with people, people can read that, hey, this is the person right here that's trying.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna do what I can do for them.
That's right.
And now, since they've invested in you, and you're making good the investment.
Yes.
And look at what you're doing, and they probably are wanting some more of people from out there.
Well, they did. They hired another girl from out at Ladies Living Free. My boss, we had one girl that was leaving. She was going back to another job, and so my boss, Ray, he asked me, he said, call out to Ladies Living Free and see if they have some girls out there who need a job. Wow. I said, are you sure? He said, yeah. I'm sure. He said, I heard you, didn't I?
Wow.
And I said, yeah, okay. And I did. And I called them, and they sent 3 girls, and he hired one of them.
Wow.
Matter of fact, she's been working for a week and a half now.
And see, and we don't really realize the power that we have once they invest in us to make good the investment so that we can make a trail for others.
Yes.
You know, so here you are stepping out there probably in an arena that maybe they haven't even thought about before.
Exactly, yeah.
And you're doing so well, and now let's get some more.
Yeah.
And this is powerful, and you are a remarkable testimony from where you've come from to where to the in-between part,
yes,
and to where you are now, and not only where you are now, where you're going to go.
Exactly.
You just never know.
Right. The sky's the limit. Yeah.
And how do you feel about your future right now? How do you feel about that?
Wow. I feel that it's like I've never been a astronaut. But you know how they just like up there and just waiting to, you know, to see what's going to sparkle to touch. Because they watching things and seeing what flashes and what moves, and it's just, you know, just whatever he's going to put before me that I can grab.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all good.
It's almost like the sky's the limit for
you. Exactly. That's it.
That is so amazing. It is. That is so amazing for you to come from where you come from, to have that kind of confidence.
Yeah.
Not only in you, but the confidence in God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And is there anything else? We got about like a minute now. Anything else that you want to share?
Well, only thing I would like to tell people is that just because you're at the rock bottom, or you've been through some hard times, or did some things to your family members or friends, God will see you through it. Just give everything you got on your shoulders to God, because He is an awesome God. He picks you up. He wipes your tears. He pets your back. He rubs your head. Whatever you need Him to do, He'll do it for you.
Wow, because you are a living witness to that. And man, this has been awesome, and I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm just thankful that you gave us an opportunity to talk to you.
And thank you for having
I'm looking
me.
for God to do even more in your life. Right. And one of the things that I tell people a lot, your past might be ugly, but your future can be bright.
Yes.
If you put it in the hands of God, like what you've done. And we appreciate you even at Christ Temple. You are, that smile that you have, you brighten up the day. You walk in like you have confidence. You don't walk in like you just, oh, woe is me. You walk in the door with confidence.
Well, thank you.
And that draws attention, and anybody that wouldn't know that you had a past, they wouldn't know you had a past.
Really, yeah.
So you God is blessing you, and His glory is basically being shown around you, and I am just so proud of you. And all I can say is keep it up.
I intend to.
And keep God in it, and you can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome,
sir.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching this episode of Life After Lockup. We have appreciated Lisa Jones' testimony, and this is for you. This is what we're all about. Give somebody a second chance, because you never know who you might get. You might get another Lisa. God bless you. Thank you so very much, and you have a marvelous day.